Hey Michael,
Hi, Jameson.
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while.
I know. Maybe last time I saw you, was it like, did we talk after the showcase yet? Or no, was it the
Uh,
showcase?
I think it was the
It
showcase.
was the showcase then. All right. So I guess let's recap briefly on that. How did you feel it went? How do you feel overall about your singing and what you're learning and everything?
I think it went better than expected. Still not, like satisfied with it, but I didn't like, freak out or blank or whatever. But yeah, I need practice, and I've been practicing, so
Good. You know what? It's also like that's how it goes in performances. There's always something that you can critique, right? So just having done it is the accomplishment, right? Like there's shouldn't be anything more you have to have done, right? It can't change the past ever. And so you did your best, of course. That's all you can do. And then like you just practice it and you do it again and again and again and you get better, right? That's how it works. But
yes.
it can be easy to get like, oh man, I should have this is what I wanted and we set up those expectations for ourselves. I mean, sometimes just out of thin air, out of like no real reason. We're like, I expect
Yeah.
this thing. So it happens to everybody. But I'm proud of you for doing it. And you really jumped in like right away to do this in a sense, which is great. Because I know we haven't been working together that long, and I was happy to see how you did too. Didn't you know what I mean? Like it was you definitely got it done, and yeah, I. Where are you feeling with your voice? Like specifically, that what have you been practicing then and working on to get more um to get more
Th-
concrete and more towards your goal of singing?
I've been working on breath control and breath support. Um, I've been following along the vocal exercises I just found on YouTube.
Okay,
Um, Also been using SLVT straws,
love it.
and
You have
um,
two different ones?
yeah, I have like a larger one and a smaller one in terms of diameter.
Great.
Um, I've also been trying to like practice songs after doing those exercises so I can incorporate it as soon as possible. But yeah, I think I'm making progress, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just trying to increase my lung capacity and control my breath when I'm singing.
Hmm. Do you work out?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your usual workout like routine?
Uh, it's like a mix between calisthenics and breaking. Well,
Oh,
outside
okay.
of yeah, outside of singing, I b-boy.
All right. Oh, amazing. That's so cool. So you definitely get cardio up then when you're doing that. Like
Yes.
that's my main thing I'm thinking about. So okay, so good. Do you feel like getting breath capacity, right? Like this is the number one thing is not just taking air in actually, being able to manage your air and like having the ability to like quick breaths, right? To burst that air in. That's the best way to do it is to be able to practice like getting your heart rate up a lot, and having the quick inhale because it's a muscle. Your diaphragm is a muscle. So in order to get that thing strengthened, you have to just do it. But if it's fun when you're doing it, that's even better. So like it sounds like you have a great way to do that, and that's the best. This dance, I think, is actually the number one way I recommend to do that. Because if you're having a good time, got music going, come on. Um, so with that in mind, and you've been singing with the singing straw. So what are you finding when you're using the straw, the SOVT straws?
Um, I'm finding it's a lot harder to hum through the notes with the smaller diameter straw.
Hmm.
At least the higher pitch notes. It's a lot harder to hum through the higher pitch notes when I'm using the
Okay.
smaller diameter straw. It's
Hmm.
a bit I don't know if it's too relaxed when using the large one that I usually like switch to the larger one for a higher like glides up and down through the notes. But with everything else, I'll just focus on using the smaller diameter straw because I feel it's a bit more pressure. I can actually um feel it working.
Good. Okay. So if you're feeling it in the top part of your range that it's a little tighter. Now, here's one thing we could think about too is I know we briefly tapped on resonance and ping, and just what that is, but there's a lot of ways that we can adjust ping, and one of the things that you can do is also work with your resonance point. And that's something like you're lifting up the range is also, this is a good thing to be moving towards as we're trying to reach higher pitches and getting more comfortable in that part of your range. Because I know the song initially we were going to sing it up the octave, we ended up singing down the octave. It's totally fine, totally fine. But you have the ability to sing it up the octave. It might be harder to do the full extent of the song there still because you might feel that you're straining a little bit more or that you're taking a heavier approach, as I would call it, with the singing, which means that basically you're positioning the resonance like here and not necessarily touching on all of this capacity sometimes. And that's hard to do consistently, especially with some of the more closed vowels or closed position with the lips. So when you have a straw, it's actually a really good way to practice this, actually, because you can keep airflow going, but it makes sure that you do open and access right here. You just may not know that you need to do that or where that feeling is. It might feel kind of weird. So we got to practice the opening sensation back here. And this is what we talk about nasal resonance. This is where you start to use more of your nasal resonance and lift to get towards mixed voice placement in your chest voice. So I think we could probably like tap on that here, and it's just going to help you increase your range. It's going to help you feel more confident and use the air a little bit more too.
Okay.
I would love to play with that today. One thing we should start with then is just essentially like, I want you to put it on an NG. Have you done that before?
NG?
Like
Like,
singing on So no air is coming out your mouth actually. Nothing's different, right? Okay, so that means all of the air is going out your nose.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Right,
definitely coming out my nose.
right. And it has to. That's the only place it can come out. Before we get to that, actually, let's try it where you put your hand over your mouth, but you have your jaw open. So this is the same thing as going but your jaw is open, and you're allowing that to happen because you're closing your lips around your hand, and then your jaw is in an open position. Your tongue can relax and go into its normal singing position. You can do everything the same.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So your positioning is exactly how you would do it with your singing, right? This is a great way to be practicing, especially like moving in higher range, keeping things open, because it helps you again access the nasal resonance. And you're also in the right positioning with your jaw and your tongue position. I sort of like discovered this with my son when he was like one. He was just walking around the house and he's like, "Ma ma ma ma," doing that thing, and I was like, "That is an interesting vocal exercise to try." And I was like, "There are so many positives to this. This is crazy." So, anyway, that's where that came from initially. But when let's go to NG now. When you know this one and the feeling of that,
Mm.
So make sure,
Mm.
it's a feeling of the same way, right? Do you sense the air coming up in here?
Yes, yes.
So there's a couple ways you can do nasal, right? Because if you wanted to go, that's nasal, technically, but it's also kind of pinched and closed in the back. I'm pinching it. That's like super close, right?
Yeah.
Now if I open it more,
Mm.
feel it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Excellent. That's a really good placement for that. So that's the feeling, right? What you just did, you're not moving your soft palate. You're moving your nasal resonance point, which is actually the back of your mouth, and it's up on the top. It's called your nasopharynx. So nasopharynx, that's what has to open to get more of your nasal resonance. And because there are a couple ways you can get nasal resonance and get your nose activated, and that's the way you want that. But other people or other times you might accidentally take the shortcut way, which would be pinching in the throat, right? Cinching down somewhere else so that you shoot the air, like putting your thumb over the edge of the hose to shoot the air up faster. And then, of course, it'll go in the nose then because of that. But that's going to cause you more strain and more fatigue. Just trying to get the nasal. So there's a couple ways to get to nasal, and you got to make sure you're doing it the right way. So with NG is a good way because you pin down, your soft palate's down, and your tongue is touching. Mm-mm. And now, if there's still closure there that's happening, it's either the top here, closing there, you need to open there, or it's down here underneath. And we don't want that one either. Yeah. So we're trying to find one that's open in the back, just a real nice smooth uh, tube, really. All right, so let's sing it. Let's do it here, actually. Mm. Okay, so do you hear any resistance in there? Do you feel any?
Maybe?
I hear some graveling, which
Yeah.
means there's a little bit of activation down here, probably. I want you to really stretch and open. Mm.
Mm,
Perfect. That's great. And it needs to be that way from the beginning to the middle to the end, all the way through. Sometimes at the end we go, and like it close it down. Mm. We don't need any of that. Mm.
mm,
Nice. And then try.
mm, mm,
Yep. Don't close it with. Mm.
mm,
Yeah, it's like freeze. Mm.
mm,
Perfect. The air just stops. You stay in your position. You don't do anything. Mm. 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 Mm.
mm, 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 mm,
Cool. Mm. 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 Mm.
mm, 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 mm.
So it's a little higher. You got to open a little bit more. Mm. 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 Mm.
Mm, 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 mm.
I'm hearing a little bit more pinch right there on that one. Make sure you're opening with also the idea the support underneath is engaged, and that's what's controlling the airflow. It's just a little bit.
Mm, mm, mm,
Uh-huh. That was better. By the end, it was open still, right? One more time. I wanted to close that first one.
mm, 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 mm,
Uh-huh.
mm, mm, mm.
Okay.
Mm, mm, mm.
The reason I'm having you slide up into it, first off, so you can connect this vocal tract a little bit and practice is being relaxed as you're going up. We need to open, right?
Mm,
Should feel like stretching open. Mm.
mm.
Mm-hmm. It's not just your jaw. It's in your right in here. It's almost, see, I like to call this spot the wasabi spot. You ever had wasabi?
Wasabi, yes.
Okay, so you know the feeling of having wasabi, and then you're like, everything is open.
Everything opens up.
It's that position. It's really right in the middle of your head, right between your ears, right between your eyes and your brain, is that spot, and it's going back, right, sort of out to the sides, this direction. Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm,
Great. Yep. Do it again.
mm,
Yep. So now, with the support.
mm, 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 mm.
There's a little pinching in the throat. Do you feel it?
Mm, mm, mm,
Uh-huh. Your tongue might be engaging in the back of your tongue. So even though you're pinning down your tongue there, your middle back of your tongue is touching the soft palate, but behind that, it might be coming up a little bit and engaging and tightening in the throat right here
Okay.
to pinch a little bit. That would be like if I was just singing right. But we went right? Open.
Okay. Okay. Mm, mm,
I'm asking you to
mm.
pay attention to a lot of different things. Good job. That was a good adjustment. Let's take off the NG for a second to say, hi.
Hi.
Wow. Yes. You feel a difference in that? It was like
Yes.
so open. That's really good. So I know it feels like it's kind of ridiculous too, probably. It's like way open. Like that's an opera tone, what you just gave, which is amazing. It's really hard to find that tone. You did a great job. You have a very rich voice, actually. When you tap into all of these different places in your voice, there's a lot there. So when you're going into the nasal resonance, it's actually not too difficult for you to find that, it seems. So when you're in that zone, just make sure nothing else is closing in the process of getting there.
Close.
You have to make sure you're releasing in the throat as well, and the soft palate is up while the tongue is released and down in the bottom too. Hi!
Hi!
Great. So that's like a maximum openness position, really, right? Now you don't have to be always there in that full open. We just need to stay in balance with how much air you're giving and what the type of tone you want to bring to it is. So you could do, hi, hey, how's it going? And we kind of close down the vocal track a little bit. Hi, if you want. That could be your singing tone. That's totally fine. Totally. But it's a little not, I don't know if that is exactly where you would be, but it's a tone, you know?
Okay, okay,
We want to find the one that's natural to you, where you like it, where it sounds like you.
okay,
So
okay.
say, hi, one more time though.
Hi!
Cool. What's great about that is you're tapping in up here. And sometimes you have to just know where the extreme is so you can sense how big you could be. You know, oh, I could get a little bit bigger. Actually, it might be nice to lean a little more towards that direction, that stretch feeling. Now let's bring that up a little bit more. Hi!
Hi!
Wow, excellent. You're actually activating the nasal resonance on top of the open space in the throat, too. Hi! Hold it for a second.
Hi!
It's pretty good. It's got a little bit closed now down here. It might be almost too much pressure down. Hi! Just let that lift and rise a little more in the head.
Hi!
Yeah. Hey!
Hey!
Cool. Hey!
Hey!
Cool. So sometimes, good job. Sometimes when you start singing the notes, all of a sudden you start to shift some things. I was like, wait a minute, I need to get these notes, and then we start going, oh no, it's this, and that's where we start to detach from the actual experience and what you're feeling. So we got to get both things to happen at the same time. Stay in balance with the position you starting with this. This is really nice and open, right? Ah, let's try going a little slower with it.
Hi!
Okay, now when the only thing is when you slow it down sometimes, now you're slowing down everything in the area, and it's kind of like, oh wait, wait, you got to go for it still the same way you went for it before.
Okay. Hi!
Cool. So it's kind of feeling like, let's say, the first note is awesome. You're like right out the gate, you got your let's say you got like a motorboat or something. You turn it on, you got your motor going. Oh, it's like, hey, here we go. And now you're in the water, you're like, cool, I'm moving. I'm doing it. And it's like, wait a minute, there's another boat over there, and that's a thing over there. Hold up. Oh, and I'm supposed to go here. How? And then you just forgot. You forgot you needed to push the motor up to keep going. It needs to stay on. Like
The
it
motor
seems
needs to
like
stay on.
it's got to keep the pressure going to keep moving through the water. It's like the boat is going, hey, and we're gonna start singing back in the boat. So we need to keep the pressure going all the way through.
Okay. Oh! Wait.
Good though, much better. Keep going.
Oh!
Yes, yes. So I know you're thinking about where am I at in the water? Wait a minute. Is that the rock I'm trying to hit? Don't worry about that. We need it. We just gotta get the glide feeling all the way through the phrase first. Let's just do hi.
Hi!
Again, it's the feeling, right? So not about the notes. The bottom note, even, who cares? If you get to the note, great. You're gonna go past the note, that's fine. Go through the finish line. You're just doing the boat race. You turn it full throttle and go all the way through. Go.
Hi!
Better, better, huh? There was a lot more consistency in the airflow. It stayed on the whole time. I think you can place it a little more here in the eyes, a little bit more of the nasal resonance. That kind of collapsed once you started. You got to keep
Okay.
everything open in the same position. Again.
Hi!
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel the ending? You now have the resonance that you had at the top. Can you sense that?
Yeah.
That's actually what I'm talking about with ping. I know it's kind of hard to introduce that first day too with ping to be like, okay, it's this shiny, sparkly kind of thing, and it's happening in the middle of your head. What? No, but that's really what it is. It's your nasal resonance is activated and maintaining throughout. So you can feel in the mask of the face, you're hitting. You're hitting all the way through. You kind of came a little bit back in the middle of that slide down, and then it came back and found it by the end. So it'd be really cool if it stays exactly on the whole time. You know those water shooter games at like the carnival and the fair where you have like the little like thing you're trying to aim at that dot and then the guy goes up to the top and it's like a race. You're trying to get your person to the top fastest.
Yes.
Okay, that game is the game we're playing here. You were like right on target there, and then you looked at your friend, and then it kind of went off the target for a second. You know what? Here it is, and you found it again by the end. But we need to keep that exactly in the middle to get the fastest time that you could for your guy to go to the top. All
Okay.
right, so all the way through there, the water is pointed right on target.
Oh.
Okay, it came off just slightly, and then it found it at the end. Did you feel? And also the note dropped to the end. To the end.
Okay.
Oh, it kind of did a little crack to the end. We got to say oh all the way through that.
Oh.
Much better, much better. There's a little gravel at the end. Oh, oh, oh! Keep the throat open. That was happening
Oh.
because it's
Oh.
closing here.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Hi.
Hi.
Cool. That was hi. A little bit too far back, right? Missed some of the resonance there. Oh, oh. If I start to shoot back here, hello. My brain is absorbing it now. It's not going to help you necessarily. It's an interesting sound, but it's not really the best optimal position for your singing voice usually. So, oh, a little more vertical than what that was. That was maybe more too far back. There's a little bit.
Hi.
Great. Yep. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so do you hear it's kind of coming off a little in the middle there as it comes back to the end, just slightly. You were doing it great last time you did it. It was like really, really on. And so we just got a little too far back by the end though. Oh, do you feel that resonance right here in your mask of your face when you do it?
Hi.
That was better. Yeah, there's a tiny, tiny bubble in the middle. One more time. Right there.
Hi.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So it needs to almost lean in more than you're expecting in the middle of it. That was great. Let's move it to the notes now. Just hit a middle note. Hi.
Hi.
Way better. Nice. You're all the way through. You had the ping consistent. The nasal resonance is activated. Okay, moving in here.
Hi. Hi.
Love it. First two notes are really good. Bottom note detached a little, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go again.
Hi.
Okay, just do the bottom part again.
Hi. Hi.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi.
Start in the middle note.
Hmm.
Hi. Yeah, by the end. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Just say that note right there. Hi.
Hi.
It's a little bit too far back. Hi.
Hi.
Can you feel the resonance that you need in the middle there? Hello.
Hello.
You feel like you're speaking like to a grand, like an audience of thousands, and you're like at the Royal Colosseum or something. You're like, you're the emperor, like whatever. You're like, hello, my
Hello.
subjects. Yes, welcome. That's how you want, actually. That's good because you're using the natural resonance of your voice. Welcome. Say it.
Welcome.
Yes, you have such a good voice for this. It's like a beautiful like voiceover tone. Like you're like tonight. Only 4 contestants will make it. Like it really sounds like that. Yeah, it's a great sound, man. Like if you really can, you could totally captivate on that. I mean, capitalize on that. You are captivating. So let's go through that. Hi. I want to find the open tone at the end of that. Do you feel like
Hi.
kind of pulling back as you're going through it? Hi. It's kind of doing
Okay.
this. Hi.
Hi.
That was closer. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Yes, that's the wasabi feeling. You just a little bit of that on top there. That was great. Hi. Hit that place at the end.
Hi.
It's closer. Hi.
Hi.
Yep. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, you came back to the same place at the end now this time. That was better. Do it again.
Hi.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Pretty nice. Okay, so it's definitely connected. Now, if we have more notes in between, you got to stay on that path,
Okay.
right? Hi.
Uh, Wait, can you do that one more time?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Okay. So the first part was really good. As you came back down, started maybe following the old ways, and it was sort of just. I think when you're coming down, maybe you're getting the sense that it needs to sit lower or something, but you got to keep it actually connected to the place that you started, where
Okay.
it was huh, right? Uh huh. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I like the where you started. It's pretty good. It kind of comes a little tiny bit back, but it was much closer. Hi. Try to land as grand as you started.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Ha.
Hi.
Yes. Okay, so the air is maybe slowing down a little bit or something there because it's just a little bit less than it was when you did hi. Ha. It's just doing something there where it's pulling back a little bit. Ha.
Ha.
Yes. Do it again.
Ha.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Yes. This the reason why we're going into this, I know it feels ridiculous, it feels way bigger. We don't always do this direction, but because you're basically the airflow you need to maximize the balance in all of these things. So you need the space and you need the ping to work together. When you find that position, now you found it loud. Sometimes it's easier to find it loud. We just have to shrink that thing down now and keep the resonance, keep the space open in a nice position while the sound is quieter. That's it. So keep the support on. Let's do the exact same thing a little quieter now. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so don't pull back on the air as far as like how much air is in balance with the feeling of ping that you had. Hi. How about just on one note? Ha. Loud.
Hi.
Okay, and then on that note, we're now going to pull back in volume, but keep the ping. Ha!
Hi.
Okay, so kind of went oh back. Did you feel that? It's
Yeah,
just a little
yeah.
different at the end than the beginning. Ha! We got to keep the laser focus right there.
Hi.
Closer. When you say hello,
Hello.
hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So more of a normal volume now, right? And you're still tapping into the nasal resonance. Hello,
Hello.
hey,
Hey.
hi.
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 That was a better place for it. Hi.
Hi.
Love where it starts that. That was really good. Hi.
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 Uh-huh. Hi.
Hi.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Try these three notes. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, almost. The first part of that note hits really good on the first note. Ha. Then we need ha. Same ping.
Ha. I'm like, ha ha.
Got
Hmm.
to open still and think about that position you had where you were really grand and open, right? Hi.
Ha ha.
Ha, ha.
Ha, ha, ha,
Okay, closer to it. Remember, the support is leading the way here.
ha, ha.
Oh, oh, too far back, maybe. Needs to hit here. Right? Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
That's perfect. Love it. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You can have that much on top of there and get away with that, actually. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay, the end one pulled back. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Okay. Hi, hi, hi.
Hi. Hi.
Good. We're doing it with awe because awe is really nice and open in your throat. And when you know that position really well, we're only factoring in now adding the ping. So that way you're not doing this some weird way to get your ping. You're doing the ping correctly. That's what's great. You're getting the ping right. When every time we are getting the sound right, we know for a fact it's open and it has the ping. You've
Okay.
hit that a lot of times. It's really great, actually, this part of your range. These notes right now, it's working really well. This one, you bring it down, this mid tone, it starts to come away a little bit. Maybe because it's just not in your normal, practice to go, hello, how are you? Be that open with it. Hi, hi. When you start though, you tend to be able to throw it there, so that's a good thing. In the
Okay.
middle of your phrase, it's pulling back, and sometimes it's coming like a little more collapsed in the throat. So you got to think about expanding through the phrases more.
Expanding through the
You know.
space.
Ah,
Oh.
yeah. Do you feel the end of that was exactly where you want to be? That was totally different.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so when you do this now on like an NG, do the same thing. Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so the ping stays really consistent. Nothing changed in there. You notice it didn't get breathy. It didn't get a little bit like stuck in anywhere, right? Hmm. One more time.
Hmm.
Uh huh. Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Now
Hmm.
it started to change. You notice a difference in that, right? So as you move to notes, hmm, keep the sliding in there. Keep them connected.
Hmm.
Top note got disconnected. Hmm. Better. Opening your throat. Yes. Again. Pretty good. There was a little stutter at the top, but you found it again. You know what I'm talking about now, right?
Yes.
So are you conscious of what you're looking for?
Yes. Yes. I think so. Just connecting it all through
Right.
and keeping that ping.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do that with the NG in finding where it is. You can also just do that with the ah, hi, when you're speaking voice one. When you are finding that really well when you throw it. So then you come back to the throw one, right? If you just throw it one time, ah, 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 hi, 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 hi. Yes, that's the one, right? You know because it's
Okay.
matching. That's another way
Yes.
to do it. So I'm trying to give you these two different things you can use to practice here to help you find that ping consistently as you practice like any song really. And you can do this without any words. That's actually better right now for you still, so that you know every part of your range. You can find the open, balanced tone. I would call this a default singing tone we're still working on, right? So that you have a balanced space and ping on, we're going to move towards having it on every vowel, but starting with this ah vowel so that you know you have an open throat position and the ping.
Okay.
And not
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
always have to be super forte, right? But you were finding it really well when you're doing it loud, and maybe it's best to start there. Then we start to scale back, and you know where that one is then too.
Okay. On it now. I'll definitely practice those.
Yeah, and these couple
Oh.
exercises we were doing today, really good to practice with. Just the slides, then moving to notes. We did two notes, sliding. Ah, and then we did. ah, or we eventually did that. We start with ah, ah, we ah, threw the middle note in, and then ah, we got to that one too. That's like five notes. Ah, and we also did ah, a full octave scale. Do mi so mi do. So all those options are there to you to kind of help you, expand, and looking at notes to sing and try to hit those positions, those targets, while keeping it connected and consistent.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. I can work with that.
Yeah, and
Uh,
you're doing a great job of finding it. It's hard to sometimes memorize that position, but your position is perfect when you hit it. It's really nice, very balanced, open space, open ping. That's something people have a hard time finding. You're great at going all the way out. You've found 100%. So yes, good job.
okay.
Hmm. You'll get there. I know it takes. You're like, what the heck? I want to get
Yeah.
there now. That's how it always works. This is why, you know what? I mean, we work on our voice. We find something that sounds great, and then we have to keep finding it again. Wait a minute. And you work on it for this one song or for this one style, and you're like, I've got it. I did. And then you're like, the next day, you're like, what the heck? I don't know what this is anymore. And it continues to evolve. And the best of singers continue to take singing lessons, right? Like Ariana Grande is still going to her vocal coach because she can still find new things to work on. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. That said, you're moving really well through this, and I hope you can feel you're making progress with that today. You notice these things. The attention to these certain things and being able to actually do it on command. That's really a big deal. So,
Yeah.
nice job.
It's been really helpful. Thank you.
Good, absolutely. You're welcome. All right. Am I seeing you next week?
Uh, yes.
Sunday as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Double check that I have that on my calendar. Okay, let me move it there. I don't think I do yet. One second. Just drag that over. Awesome. Alrighty. I've got you. Sunday the 3rd.
Sunday
Um,
the 3rd, May the 3rd.
yeah. May the 3rd be with you.
Close enough.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Alrighty, I'll see you then.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you,
Michael.
Jameson.
You're
Bye.
welcome. See ya.